screen says. I'm Sam Joseph.
And I'm Jason Almeida. Project Waldo is obviously named after our personal idol, Waldo. Now, Waldo travels all around the world, but sometimes Waldo has friends. And each one of these friends have different preferences, constraints, price constraints, etc., etc. And there's no real solution there's no real solution for group planning. TripAdvisor doesn't really account for all these preferences, and other things don't really account for multiple prices. It gets even more complicated when you come to the personalization tools, when you think of different groups, different types of groups, different age demographics, etc., etc. So, these people have very different, things they want to do, things they prefer, things they don't prefer, and there's no real great solution out there. So, that's where we come in. And today we're announcing VIC, finding what matters for the people who matter. The way VIC works is you have your team leader go onto VIC and create a trip. They enter a destination, and they enter most importantly, they enter the email addresses of all their team members. And after the team leader does that, an email is sent out with a survey to each one of the users in the group. And each user enters in certain preferences, and key thing is the price constraints. Different people have different budgets, and therefore in a group that's one of the key problems. And once each person fills up the survey, they send it back to Vic. And Vic then works on the back end and adjusts for all these things in the trip area. Now, we would like to show you a demo, but this is kind of what's going on when we put everything together. Over the past 24 hours, we have built individual parts, and we have tons of things to show, individual parts, but putting it all together has resulted in some problems.
Although that's the case, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the front end. So this is your landing page that you get to, as Jason was talking about. You get your email, you get the contributors' emails, and then you get the location. Once you fill that out, everyone gets your survey. For the purposes of this presentation, we are going to focus on food. So it's going to be how long are you going to be there, what kind of foods do you want, is it your classic foods that you're comfortable with, or is it going to be local cuisine, stuff like that, just to get a general consensus on what you personally want, despite what the whole group wants as well. And as I talked about, then once you get the survey completed, you are then recommended food, not just based on what you want, but what everyone wants in the trip.
Now, we actually coded, and a lot. These are just a couple of the windows. We coded using technologies HTML, CSS, Node, Express, the Yelp API specifically for locations for restaurants and such. And we have working Yelp APIs. We have a working system to get a database. We have a scraper for certain things, certain websites that didn't have an API. We scraped stuff off their website. We built these things. It's just the putting it together which really came in the last 2 hours. We were like, oh, this is a problem. We probably should have thought of putting this earlier together. 30 seconds? Okay. So we wanted to also just kind of talk about the future of this quickly before I'm out of time. And one reason that this doesn't really exist right now is business model. A lot of people have had problems with making this a viable business, and therefore this product barely exists. And I would love to have gone into it, but we thought a lot about everything of this product, from the coding and everything, and we did it a lot of work. And we even thought of what we think is a pretty decent business model, which we would have liked to try out. And that is VIC.